Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Bailey, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the order of operations. Now you might remember from 6th grade something called PEMDAS, and PEMDAS walks you through the order of operations. Now we still use PEMDAS in 7th grade, but we call it GEMDAS instead. So instead of using P for parentheses, we like to use G for grouping symbols. Because as you'll see in 7th grade and later on in your math career, it's not always parentheses, but other forms of brackets as well. The E still stands for exponents. The M and the D stand for multiplication or division, and whenever you do that, you always work from left to right. Then we have the A and the S, which stands for addition or subtraction, which again is always completed from left to right. So whenever you're solving a problem with multiple operations, you want to use the order of operations because it allows all mathematicians to solve problems in the same way so that we can get the same answer. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. So over on the side, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite GEMDAS. I like to just kind of write it and use it as a checklist to help me solve the problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for any grouping symbols. And you can see right here, we have parentheses. And inside those parentheses, it says 16 minus 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. So then I'm going to bring down my 4 divided by sign in the front. And behind it, I had plus 2 to the power of 3 times 5. So again, I'm going to go ahead and cross off my groupings because there are no other grouping symbols in this problem. Going through order of operations, next we have to look at exponents. Now if you look right here, we do have an exponent. It says 2 to the power of 3. I want to remind you that this means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So now I'm going to bring down the rest of my problem. We have 4 divided by 4 plus 8, and then I'm going to bring down my times 5. You're going to notice that we are using the multiplication dot in this problem. So I check there are no exponents, so now I'm going to look for multiplication or division. Remember, I have to start from the left and work right. So as I move to the right, I see that we have 4 divided by 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So then I'm going to bring down my plus 8 times 5. And again, I'm looking for any multiplication or division, and I see I have this multiplication left. Well, 8 times 5 is 40, and I'm going to bring down my 1 plus in front. So I have no more multiplication or division. All I'm left with is one addition problem. 1 plus 40 gives me a total of 41. So you can see that using the order of operations allows me to work through a problem so that if Ms. Cooley is working through this exact same problem, the order of operations ensures that we'll get the same answer. I have a couple more examples for you guys to look at. So here we have another problem, and again I'm going to go ahead and write GEMDAS down so I can use it as my checklist. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for grouping symbols. You can see in this problem we do have grouping symbols, and you're going to see that these are actually in the form of brackets. They still mean to do them first. Now this time when I look inside my grouping symbols, I see 9 plus 2 times 3. So now I kind of have to think through my order of operations down here. I have addition and I have multiplication. Well, when looking at GEMDAS, multiplication comes before addition, which means inside my parentheses, I have to do 2 times 3 first. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to bring down my 9 plus. I'm going to close that up with my grouping symbols or brackets. I'm going to bring down my divided by 5 minus 3. So as you can see, I still have stuff happening in my grouping symbols, so I need to go ahead and do 9 plus 6, which gives me 15. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of my problem. It's really important that you're very careful when you're copying down the rest of your problem so that you don't make a mistake. So looking at what I'm left with, I have no more grouping symbols. I have no exponents. So now I have to look for multiplication or division going left to right. Well, starting from the left, I see 15 divided by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and I'm going to bring down my minus 3. Now at this point, I really don't need my order of operations anymore because I have one operation left, which is 3 minus 3, which gives me a grand total of 0. So if you're feeling pretty good, you can kind of look at some of the problems in your notebook, or you can hang in because I have 2 more really good examples. So go ahead and take a look at this example. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write down GEMDAS. Hopefully, as I'm kind of writing my checklist, you're copying the problem down in your notes. So this is kind of crazy because if you look here, this is why we use the G for grouping symbols here in 7th grade. Because if I look at this problem, it says 10 plus 4 all divided by 7 divided by 2 plus 3 to the power of 2 minus 4. And you're going to see that this part's going to cause me a problem in a minute because it's almost like a grouping symbol. If you look at this, it says 10 plus 4 divided by 7. Well, I can't divide by 7 until I've done 10 plus 4. So this almost acts like it's grouping this addition problem for us to do. So what I'm going to do is do 10 plus 4, which gives me 14, divided by 7, divided by 2, plus 3 to the power of 2 minus 4. So now that everything looks a little bit more normal, I'm going to go ahead and cross off this G for grouping symbols, and I'm going to go take care of some exponents. I saw one right here. 3 to the power of 2, remember that your exponent tells you how many 3's you're going to multiply, which means 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So now my problem says 14 divided by 7 divided by 2 plus 9 minus 4. And I'm just bringing down that here. Looking through this, I have no more exponents, so I'm going to cross that off. And now I'm looking for multiplication or division. Well, this is a division problem right here. 14 divided by 7 gives me 2. Then I'm going to bring down divided by 2 plus 9 minus 4. And you can see I still have a division problem. 2 divided by 2 is 1 plus 9 minus 4. Now that I'm all done with my multiplication and division, now I'm going to go look for addition or subtraction, moving left to right. You can see I have this addition problem that comes first, so I need to do that. 1 plus 9 is 10. And then I'm left with just 10 minus 4, which equals 6. So you have to be careful with grouping symbols because sometimes grouping symbols might not look like it. But you have to remember that you can't divide by something if there's something going on top. So I always like to kind of condense that first. So last example, and then you guys will be done with me and working on your own, is this beauty. And this is a good one because this is an example where we have grouping symbols inside of grouping symbols. So I have my checklist down and I have my G for grouping symbols. And you can notice right here, this says 4 plus 5 to the power of 2 minus 3. And you're going to notice that we have brackets on the far outside, and then we have parentheses on the inside. And then we have this minus 1 times 3 to the right, but we'll worry about that once we get rid of all these grouping symbols. Now, whenever you're looking at grouping symbols, you have to go into the inside of the inside. So the grouping symbols inside the grouping symbols. So I need to work with 5 to the power of 2 minus 3 first. And when I do that, I'm going to go through my order of operations. There's no more grouping symbols inside, so now I'm ready to take care of exponents. Well, 5 to the power of 2 means 5 times 5, and 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to bring down the grouping symbols. I'm going to bring down my minus 3. I'm going to close my bracket. I'm going to bring my 4 plus in the front. Then I'm going to do minus 1 times 3. So if you check this out, I still have grouping symbols inside my grouping symbols, which means I need to do 25 minus 3 first. And 25 minus 3 is 22. So now I'm done with what's inside my parentheses. So those are going to disappear, and I'm going to bring down my brackets of 4 plus 22 minus 1 times 3. So as you can see, I'm still not done with my grouping symbols because now I have to do 4 plus 22. And 4 plus 22 is 26. Then I'm going to bring down the minus 1 times 3. So now I'm done with my grouping symbols. We have no more exponents. So now I need to look for multiplication and division. Looking at this, I have 1 times 3 first, and 1 times 3 is just 3. So then I'm going to bring down my 26 minus, so the final problem I'm left with is 26 minus 3, which gives me a grand total of 23. So hopefully walking through these examples of order of operations have kind of refreshed your memory from some stuff that you've learned in previous grades, and you're ready to kind of go on and explore some on your own.